Just 48 hours ago, we told you that cinema was dead. We told you that Netflix had won. We told you that the ink was dry on an $83 billion check to buy Warner Brothers. We were wrong, because while Netflix was popping champagne in Silicon Valley, a ghost from the past was writing a bigger check in the shadows. Ladies and gentlemen, the deal is not done. It is dead. In a shocking twist that no one saw coming, Paramount, a company 10 times smaller than Netflix, has just placed a nuclear weapon on the table, a hostile takeover bid of $108 billion. And unlike Netflix's offer of stock and debt, this offer is all cash. Let's break down exactly what just happened. It is unprecedented. Netflix offered $83 billion. That deal was complicated. It involved stock swaps, debt restructuring, and a payout of around $27 per share. It was paper money. But Paramount just walked into the room with a briefcase containing $108 billion in cold, hard cash. They are offering $30 per share, instant liquidity. If you are a Warner Brothers shareholder, this isn't a choice. It is a no-brainer. You take the cash. But this raises a terrifying question. Paramount is a dying studio. Their market cap is barely $15 billion. They are the David in this fight. So how on earth is David offering to buy Goliath for $100 billion? To understand this, you have to remember what we discussed in our last video. We told you there was a secret war involving Larry Ellison and Donald Trump. We told you that the owner of Oracle was lurking in the shadows. Well, he just stepped into the light. Paramount isn't buying Warner Brothers. The Ellison family is. Larry Ellison, the man whose servers run ChatGPT, the man who briefly became the richest person on Earth last week, is bankrolling this entire operation. This is not a merger. It is a proxy war. Larry Ellison is using Paramount as a vessel to hijack Hollywood before Netflix can claim it. And the strategy they are using is brutal. It is called a bear hug. Usually, when you want to buy a company, you talk to the board of directors, you have polite dinners, you shake hands. Paramount didn't do that. They bypassed the board entirely. They went straight to the shareholders. They sent a letter to every person holding Warner Brothers stock saying, "We will give you $30 cash right now. Forget the board. Sell to us." This is corporate assassination. If the shareholders revolt and demand the cash, the Warner Brothers board and Netflix are powerless to stop it. Now, you might be thinking, this sounds impossible. A tiny company buying a massive giant? It happens more often than you think. Let me give you a history lesson. Think about Starbucks. Today, it is a global empire. But back in the day, the original owners of Starbucks just wanted to sell beans. They didn't want to build a massive coffee shop chain. They hired a marketing director named Howard Schultz. Schultz had a vision. He wanted to turn Starbucks into a third place, a home away from home. The owners said no, so Schultz quit. He started his own tiny, rival coffee shop. It was small, insignificant, but Schultz had a wealthy backer, Bill Gates Sr., the father of Bill Gates. With that massive financial backing, Schultz returned and bought Starbucks, the very company that used to employ him. The mouse ate the elephant. This is exactly what is happening today. Paramount is the small coffee shop. Warner Brothers is the giant. And Larry Ellison is the wealthy father writing the check. But money isn't the only weapon here. The biggest weapon is the government. Remember the antitrust issue we warned you about? If Netflix buys Warner Bros., it creates a monopoly. It becomes a mega corporation that controls streaming, theaters, and the internet. The government hates that. But if Paramount buys Warner Bros., the government loves it. Why? Because Paramount is small. Even if you combine Paramount and Warner Bros., they are still smaller than Disney. They are still smaller than Netflix. From a legal standpoint, this deal is clean. It keeps the market competitive. It is the perfect anti-monopoly move. And since Larry Ellison is a top donor to the incoming administration, do you really think the FTC is going to block his deal? Not a chance. So, is Netflix dead? Absolutely not. You don't become a $400 billion company by giving up. Netflix has a war chest. They have the most valuable stock in the media world. They are not going to let Larry Ellison steal the crown jewel of Hollywood without a fight. We expect Netflix to retaliate within the next 48 hours. They could raise their bid to $120 billion. They could offer more cash. But at that point, they are overpaying. They are bleeding. And maybe That is Larry Ellison's plan all along, to force Netflix to spend so much money that they destroy themselves. Put yourself in the shoes of a Warner Brothers shareholder right now. On one hand, you have Netflix, the future of tech, but a regulatory nightmare that might take 2 years to approve. On the other hand, you have Paramount, a chaotic mess, but they are holding a bag of cash that you can spend tomorrow. Greed usually wins. The board of directors might want the Netflix deal to save their jobs, but the shareholders just want the payout. We are seeing a mutiny inside Warner Brothers. The captains are trying to steer the ship toward Netflix, but the crew is jumping onto the Paramount lifeboats. What does this mean for the movies? If Paramount wins, it might actually be good for cinema. Paramount believes in theaters. Top Gun. Maverick proved that. If they acquire Warner Bros., we might see Batman and Harry Potter stay on the big screen. We might see the prestige of cinema preserved. But if Netflix wins, as we said before, it all becomes content soup. This isn't just a financial war, it is a war for the soul of the medium. Larry Ellison is essentially pitching himself as the savior of cinema against the tech overlords. We are witnessing the greatest corporate battle of the 21st century. It is Silicon Valley versus the old guard. It is the algorithm versus the checkbook. Netflix thought they had checkmate, but Paramount just flipped the board. The question now isn't who has the better movies. The question is, who has the bigger bank account? The man who built the cloud or the company that lives on it? Stay tuned. The show is just getting started. This is the Decode Factory signing off.